Let's be real for a second. Trying to figure out what healthy eating actually means can be, well, exhausting, right? There's always a new trend, a new rule, some food you're supposed to avoid. But what if there was a simple visual guide, one that's backed by actual science, that could just cut through all of that noise? Well, today we're going to do just that. We're going to build that guide, one plate at a time. Okay, here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about that confusing diet maze we all get stuck in. Then, I'll introduce you to a much simpler, smarter guide. After that, we'll get super practical. We're talking building your plate, rethinking portions, and even how to plan for the week. And finally, we'll look at the actual science to see why this approach works. So first things first, let's just tackle this problem head on. You know the feeling. You walk into the grocery store, trying to do the right thing, trying to make a healthy choice, and suddenly you're just bombarded with all this conflicting advice from every direction. It is a lot. Exactly. Is it low fat this week? Or low carb? Should I be doing keto? Wait, I heard paleo is the way to go. The number of options is just dizzying. It's enough to make you feel totally paralyzed before you've even put a single thing in your cart. And all that confusion and frustration, that's what I like to call the diet maze. It's this endless cycle that makes something that should be so simple, eating well, feel incredibly complicated. But the good news is, there is a way out. So what if there was a way to just silence all that noise? Let's shift gears and talk about a really powerful tool from nutrition experts at Harvard, one that's designed to bring some much-needed clarity back to your kitchen table. And here it is, the healthy eating plate. Now, this is not just another fad diet you try for a week and then forget about. This is a simple visual guide, a blueprint, really, that shows you what a truly healthy, balanced meal looks like. It is a total game changer. So, you might be wondering, what makes this guide so credible? Well, unlike the government's My Plate, which has, faced some criticism for industry influence, the Harvard Guide is based only on the science. It was created completely free from the influence of food industry lobbyists, and that independence is exactly what makes it so trustworthy. All right, so what does this healthy eating plate actually look like? Let's get into the nitty-gritty and see how it all comes together.
The main idea is so simple, you're going to remember it forever. Just picture your plate. Fill half of it, a full 50%, with vegetables and fruits. The other half gets split right down the middle, a quarter for whole grains and a quarter for healthy protein. That's it. Simple, right?
Now for that big, beautiful half of your plate. Think color. The more different colors you can get in there, the better. But here's a really important little detail. Potatoes and French fries, they don't count as vegetables on this plate. And that's because of how they can spike your blood sugar. Okay, on to the next quarter of your plate, the grains. And here it's all about quality. We're talking about whole, intact grains. Things like quinoa, oats, brown rice. These have a much milder effect on your blood sugar compared to refined stuff like white bread and white rice. And to complete the plate, let's talk protein. The guide points us towards healthy, versatile options like fish, chicken, beans, and nuts. It also suggests we should limit things like red meat and cheese and really try to avoid processed meats, like bacon and cold cuts. But wait, it's not just about what's on the plate. The guide also reminds us about the other stuff that matters. Things like using healthy oils for cooking, choosing water, coffee, or tea over sugary drinks, and of course, that little reminder to stay active. It's all part of the big picture. So we've got the what to eat pretty much nailed down. Now let's talk about the how much. This is where we need to start rethinking our idea of portion sizes. And trust me, this can make a huge difference. Okay, this is a really critical point that trips so many of us up. A serving size, that's just a standardized amount you see on a nutrition label. A portion size, on the other hand, is what you actually put on your plate. And let's be honest, those two amounts are often very, very different. And this right here is where it all clicks. Think about a typical restaurant steak dinner. It can easily clock in at over 1,500 calories. But if you use the healthy eating plate as your guide, you can still have a delicious, totally satisfying meal for less than half the calories. It's all about rearranging that plate. And hey, it's not just for dinner. That giant burrito you grab for lunch, that can easily be over 1,000 calories. But with just a few smart swaps, like a whole wheat tortilla and way more fresh veggies, you can build a burrito that's just as tasty and so much more balanced. Okay, knowing what a healthy plate looks like is one thing, but actually making it happen day after day, especially when life gets busy, that's the real challenge. The secret weapon here? It's all about planning.
And listen, it doesn't have to be some big, complicated thing. It can be a simple 3-step process. Just pick a few meals for the week, make a shopping list with only what you need, and then maybe do a little bit of prep work ahead of time. That's it. It completely removes that daily what's for dinner stress.
And believe me, that little bit of planning pays off big time. You save money, you waste less food. But you know what the biggest win is? It helps you stick to your goals because it makes healthy eating the easy choice. And that's how you build habits that actually last.
So at this point, you're probably wondering, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but does it actually work in the real world? Well, I'm happy to report that the science gives us a very loud and clear yes. Let's look at the research.
So, Harvard researchers actually put their own guide to the test. They compared people who followed the USDA's plan with people who followed the healthy eating plate. And the results are pretty striking. The folks who stuck with the Harvard plan saw a 20% reduction in their risk of major chronic disease. That's nearly double the benefit of the government's plan. And if there's one key takeaway, it's this. This approach isn't about cutting out entire food groups. It's about making smarter choices within each group. Like the experts at Harvard say, the type of carbohydrate you eat is way more important than the amount. Quality is king. So there you have it. A simple, powerful, and science-backed tool to completely reframe how you think about eating. And remember, this isn't about getting it perfect overnight. It's just about starting. So I'll leave you with this question. Looking at your own meals, what's one small change you can make to your plate this week?